Imagine stepping into a town where the future never arrived and time just stopped. While the world rushes forward, some towns refuse to change. No cars, no signal, even a single-person town exists. Havana, Illinois. And here's where it gets even stranger. Havana feels like a snapshot straight out of the 1960s. Nestled near Springfield, Illinois, this town of about 30,000 drifts along at its own pace. Brick storefronts line quiet streets, neon signs hum softly at night, and the old-style theater still flickers its classic marquees. Walk past, and you could swear you stepped into a different era entirely. Homes are surprisingly affordable, with the median sitting around $80,700 and rent rarely tops $8,000. Cost of living is nearly 28% lower than the national average, and crime? Almost non-existent. The town's economy hums quietly with healthcare, education, and agriculture jobs, keeping it steady. Life here isn't flashy, nightlife is minimal, choices are limited, but there's a calm rhythm to it, a sense that life moves at the river's pace, unhurried and steady. What would it feel like to live somewhere time refuses to catch up? Mineral Point, Wisconsin. But wait, it's about to get way more unexpected. Mineral Point didn't just fall behind, it made a choice. This small town of around 2,500 started as a booming mining community, founded by Cornish immigrants in the 1800s. When the mines eventually shut down, most places would panic, rebuild, or modernize. Mineral Point did the opposite. The limestone buildings stayed, narrow streets remained, and old storefronts held their ground. Walk downtown, and it feels like a living museum of mid-century America, but without the stuffiness. People actually live here. Median home prices sit near $300,000. Crime is very low, and unemployment hovers under 3%. Jobs come mostly from tourism and small manufacturing, keeping the town steady. Life here has rhythm. Independent shops, art studios, and cafes line Main Street. No chains, no rush, just a community that knows each other. People wave from porches, chat on the sidewalks. Mineral Point isn't stuck by accident. The past was worth keeping, and that choice shapes everything. Saugatuck, Michigan. Now here's a town that literally moves at its own pace. Saugatuck, perched on Lake Michigan, has fewer than 900 full-time residents, and the charm here is palpable. Pastel shops and a laid-back beach town vibe dominate downtown, giving every corner a slow, colorful energy. But the highlight? The Saugatuck Chain Ferry. No engine, just a hand-cranked cable pulling a platform across the Kalamazoo River. A simple system that's been running since the 1800s. Even the ferry refuses to hurry. Homes here aren't cheap, around $600,000, but crime is low, and the economy revolves around tourism and the arts. Life trades convenience for atmosphere. Slow mornings at coffee shops, sunsets over the lake, neighbors who recognize you after a few visits. There's no rush, no highways cutting through, no big shopping centers. Everything moves gently, intentionally, and the ferry is the perfect symbol. Even transportation slows down when the town says so. Abilene, Kansas. Just when you thought time couldn't be frozen in a whole town, Abilene steps in. Population about 6,500, but walk its streets, and you're back in Eisenhower-era America. This is the president's hometown, Dwight D. Eisenhower, and the legacy is everywhere. Streets named after him, local museums, classic Main Street storefronts, and diners that feel straight out of the 1950s. Median home prices hover around $176,000. The cost of living is about 8% lower than the national average, and unemployment stays under 4%. Jobs mostly come from agriculture, education, and healthcare. Life here is simple. Most errands can be done on foot, neighbors greet you by name, and familiar faces are everywhere. Nightlife is minimal. Options are fewer, but there's stability, quiet streets, and a predictable rhythm. Abilene didn't get stuck. It chose consistency, a lifestyle where the past isn't just remembered, it's woven into the fabric of daily life. Bisbee, Arizona. And here's where things get delightfully weird. Bisbee sits near the Mexico border, population around 5,000, a mining town frozen in time, but not by accident. When the mines collapsed in the 1970s, most towns would have folded. Bisbee did the opposite. Artists, musicians, and outsiders moved in, turning the decline into a rebirth. Walk its streets and you're hit with color, vivid hillside homes, murals splashed across walls, and a psychedelic mix of vintage shops that somehow feels decades older than the present. There's a rhythm here that refuses the typical modern hustle. Homes cost around $220,000, the cost of living is slightly lower than average, and crime is minimal. The economy thrives on arts and tourism, with quirky businesses that make every visit feel unique. Bisbee didn't just stop moving forward, it replaced the future with something older, stranger, and more human. No big chains, no skyscrapers, just winding streets, cafes with hand-painted signs, and a town that decided to live on its own clock. Silverton, Colorado. Now imagine a town where the mountains literally dictate your life. Silverton sits high in the San Juan Mountains at over 9,000 feet. Population barely 780. One road in, one road out, and a historic train that keeps the past alive. The town feels suspended in another century. Old saloons, Western-style buildings, and snow-covered peaks dominate your view. Homes run about $530,000, and the economy leans on tourism and the railroad. Winters are harsh, life is slow, not by choice entirely, but because the mountains command it. Residents adapt to the rhythm, snow shovels before sunrise, cozy evenings by fire, and streets empty of rush-hour chaos. Silverton is a place where time isn't just frozen, it's negotiated. The mountains force you to live deliberately, appreciating small victories, a clear road, a warm meal, or a train rolling past on schedule. You feel it instantly, that life here isn't measured by minutes, but by the slow unfolding of days and seasons. Mackinac Island, Michigan. And this one is downright magical. Mackinac Island, population about 600, has been defying modernity since 1898. Cars, band, horses, still the main engine of daily life. Early automobiles terrified the horses, so the law stuck, and no one has repealed it. Here, transport is simple: walk, bicycle, or ride in horse-drawn carriages. Wooden buildings line the streets, old hotels whisper of Victorian summers, and the air carries the clip-clop of hooves instead of engines. Homes sell for around $487,000 plus. The economy leans heavily on tourism, and life hums at a pace the modern world rarely sees. Noise is nearly absent. There's no rush-hour blare, no idling engines, just a soft rhythm that makes you notice small details. The creak of a carriage wheel, the smell of fresh-baked fudge, the gentle sway of flags in the breeze. Mackinac Island proves one thing: sometimes, removing technology doesn't stop life. It sharpens it, turning every movement into something deliberate, tactile, and unforgettable. Green Bank, West Virginia. And now, a town where your phone simply dies. Green Bank, population around 30, sits in the National Radio Quiet Zone, home to the massive Green Bank telescope. This isn't by accident. The government bans cell towers and limits Wi-Fi to protect the telescope's delicate signals. Walk around, and you notice it instantly. No notifications, no buzzing, no scrolling. Landlines still work, but smartphones? Forget it. Homes go for less than $152,000, and the economy is small but steady, centered on the observatory and a handful of local jobs. Life here is quiet, deliberate, and deeply unplugged. For residents, it's like stepping out of the digital flood into a calm pocket of reality. Green Bank literally turns off the future, trading instant connectivity for peace, making you wonder if we're missing something essential while we chase every ping and vibration in our lives. Tangier Island, Virginia. And here's a place slowly disappearing before your eyes. Tangier Island, in Chesapeake Bay, holds roughly 400 people, and no bridge connects it to the mainland. Descendants of English settlers have preserved a unique culture, complete with an accent that feels straight out of the 1700s. Life revolves around the tides. Fishing and crabbing are more than jobs. They dictate the rhythm of every day. Homes go for less than $230,000, and the island hums with quiet resilience. But the future isn't kind. Erosion and rising waters threaten the land itself, making every sunrise feel both precious and precarious. Walk its streets, and you sense history breathing around you. Weathered homes, creaking docks, boats bobbing gently in the harbor. Tangier Island doesn't just live in the past. It clings to it, holding on to traditions that might vanish within a generation. The fragility is palpable. Here, the past isn't distant. It's fragile, living, and slipping through the fingers of time. Monowi, Nebraska.
Monowi!
I guess we'll just park right in front.
It's crowded today.
And finally, the ultimate frozen-in-time town, Monowi, Nebraska, population 1. One resident, Elsie Eiler, runs the entire town. Mayor, clerk, librarian, bartender, you name it, she does it. Every official document signed twice because she's both the issuer and the recipient. The rest of the town? Empty streets, silent houses, homes under $134,000. Life here is solitary, but purposeful. Elsie runs the local tavern, greets visitors, and keeps the library alive. There are no neighbors to gossip with, no kids playing outside, just the echo of a community frozen in population. Monowi embodies ultimate isolation. Time doesn't move here, not in any usual sense. It's a living testament to what happens when people leave, and one person decides to hold on to a place against all odds. Walking its streets is like stepping into a world untouched, a reminder of just how starkly small, quiet, and still life can get. From bustling cities to these frozen towns, we see what we gain and lose with speed and technology. Peace, connection, and heritage thrive where the world slows down. Which of these places would you choose to escape to, or could you even handle the stillness? Drop your thoughts in the comments.